Hi, my name is Theo Dudley, and I'm here to talk about my experience with AtlasProfilax and Zana Filipovic. I have to say right now, if you've got any sort of neck pain or you suffer from migraines or dizziness, vertigo-like symptoms, this treatment helped me so much when I had my accident, and I'm honestly feeling now good, if not better, than I was before my accident.
So how long ago was the accident?
It happened on Halloween of 2013.
Right, and then now it's March 2015, so it's been
Yeah,
a while, right?
it's been almost 2 years.
Okay, and what happened in the accident, and what were your symptoms?
So I had a concussion, but I had sort of a special type of concussion where the symptoms don't go away for a long time after. What I did was I hit the front of my head right here on sort of like about a waist-high bed, and the day after, obviously, I was feeling really, really terrible, but I expected, just like anyone else would, to feel better after, 2 weeks of keeping off my feet, just keeping everything very light. But I was noticing it was about 2 or 3 months after my initial injury, and things weren't getting better. Every day I woke up, I would feel fine when I was laying down, but when I stood up, I just got this immediate head rush, just a migraine. I love to write, and I'm a television radio major at the college, so obviously talking to people and being able to have fun and being energetic is really a big part of my personality and career. So not being able to do that, not having the energy to even pretend to be happy, was so just, I can't even explain how horrible that was. So really I was in an incredibly low point.
But you said, how about your concentration stuff? Did it affect that?
Oh yeah, the injury, I had to concentrate so much more on my studies than I would have otherwise. Honestly, sorry, the laptop, it went to sleep mode. Reading a page after my injury would almost take me 4 times the time it would have previously. I would have to study 4 times as hard with everything. I managed to get okay grades, but that was only through super strenuous dedication to making. I had all my friends help me write my papers and edit my papers just because I really didn't have mental energy to concentrate on more than one thing for maybe 1 or 2 hours in a day. It was really, really tough.
And then what kind of therapies did you do to try and help yourself with?
Well, initially I went to a neurobiologist, I think they're called, or someone invested in neuroscience at the University of Rochester, and obviously it's a really, really good university. And I expected them to have really top-notch programs. And they said, yeah, you've got something called post-concussion syndrome. There's really not much we can do about it. There's not really much we understand about the syndrome. Maybe like 3 out of 10 people who get a concussion get lasting symptoms. And really, you just have to wait it out. It could be months, it could be days, it could be years, it could never end. And I just couldn't, I guess, accept that. If I wanted to be engaged and I want to make the most of my time, I really was searching for just anything to help me through. And so I went. They gave me amitriptyline for the headaches and concussions and all that sort of stuff, and that helped a tiny bit. It just brought the pain away, but I still had very little mental energy, and I just wasn't enjoying myself. And so I went to a upper cervical chiropractor. Probably a year before this school year, or a couple days before the school year started, and I just told him everything, and he took a lot of X-rays, and they were pretty expensive, and the entirety of the thing probably cost $500 just for him to move my atlas a little bit, but even that little movement made such an incredible difference to me. I almost felt just like I was before the accident, and that's when I knew that I really have to concentrate on my atlas. It really is the atlas that is causing all my issues, and not my brain, which of course is the thing everyone thinks about when they have traumatic brain injury, is that something's wrong or they're not going to be the same as they were. So that's when I knew that it's time for me to start looking into procedures where I can correct the position of my atlas.
So how often did you go to see him? Or was it a one-time thing?
It was just a one-time thing.
And okay, so you felt a little bit better, but then, what, did that last, or?
I tried to keep it up as much as possible, It lasted for maybe the first 3 months. The migraines and stuff had gone down tremendously, I wasn't really suffering from those as much. They were still a big thing, but I was noticing that more than ever, I just had pain in the back of my neck. Every morning I'd wake up and almost immediately I'd have to be craning myself and just really stretching my neck in uncomfortable positions, just to relieve. I mean, if you saw me at all last semester, you know that I'd constantly be having my hands around my neck, just sort of like poking and touching and trying to relieve stress. And honestly, before I came in here, my rotation of movement was probably like
it was non-existent,
to
right?
here. It was so little. It was so little, yeah.
Right. So, and then how long after then you started to look into
AtlasProfilax.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
it was about a year and a half.
It later? I would say it was probably October of this year that I started looking into AtlasProfilax. Obviously, the first thing I did is I went to YouTube and I watched all the testimonials and reviews. And I noticed that a lot of people talking about their, treatments and their, their history with treatments and all that stuff, all their symptoms that they had, it was so eerily similar to what I was going through that I thought, hey, if all these people are saying such amazing things about AtlasProfilax, it only makes sense if I gave this a shot, Like, I want to be symptom-free, I want to be happy, and I want to feel good. So what's the worst that can happen?
Right. So you came to see me in January, and when you came to see me, there was very little range of motion, and your hip was way out too. It was about one leg was 1 inch shorter, and at that point you had a lot of brain fog, and headaches were not as often, but they were still pretty strong. It was a couple of months.
Still a couple stops down from where I felt like I should be.
But brain fog was pretty bad.
Brain fog was so tremendously bad. I can't even describe. If you think you're having a bad day, if you've missed your coffee, brain fog is about 50,000 times worse than that. It's honestly, it's saying a sentence and then losing your train of thought halfway through. Right. It's awful. Yeah.
So as soon as we did the correction, what did you notice? Like immediately after the correction?
It was so weird. Forming sentences for me felt like putting a piece of a puzzle together, and brain fog was it just like moving the puzzle out of the way. And as soon as I had the AtlasProfilax treatment, it felt like I was just like laying down puzzle pieces. It just felt really, really good. It felt like I had, it felt like I was able to reach sort of the point of every sentence that I started out saying. And I know that's like such, it's such
it makes sense.
No one really can understand like how nice it is to be able to do that once you've not been able to do that.
And what about turning your neck right after?
Oh my God, look, check this out.
Wow, that's like perfect range of motion.
That's perfect, right?
And that was immediately after the correction.
Immediately. In fact, we brought my mom to the I brought my mom to the correction, and she saw how bad I was before and how bad I was, and how good I was after. And she just looked at me. And she's like,
She's
amazed. Yeah.
Okay, so just tell us of your journey now in the last 3 months. Since you did the correction, so immediate range of motion was better, brain fog was gone. Now, just tell us what you noticed. The journey.
the entire thing, the ups and downs of it. Of course. Well, immediately after the correction, my range of motion was 100% better. I have to say that was the most stark. I was driving in my car and I just noticed, hey, this doesn't hurt to do this anymore. I've been so used to living with that constant pain that not having it was almost like a treat. It was like, oh, that's nice. And even like working my job, it was just so much easier just to, living my life now that I've had this done. And as far as the entire journey as a whole, I was told that a couple, of my past symptoms would flare up as a result of me, healing and my spine realigning and all that stuff. And I did have the day after was probably the most significant of the flare-ups and stuff. That was definitely when I felt them the most strongest. And
so how did you notice, like, what flare-ups? Was it all the symptoms coming back? What specific flare-ups did you have?
I had sort of a mini migraine. I was feeling a little bit of brain fog. I felt a little nauseous. I felt a little dizzy. I've had, just like a very miniature version of all my post-concussion syndromes. And of course, the first thing I thought was, oh no,
like, here it comes back.
it's all coming back. But I noticed just throughout the weeks and throughout the days, every day would be so much better than the last. I just feel like, I was improving and improving and improving. I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to plateau here. I'm going to stop feeling better right about now. This is probably good. And just the next day would be better. So, but it is a process.
Excellent. Yeah. So right now, where you are right now, 3 months after the Atlas correction versus before you had your accident, where are we at?
I would say just in terms of me wanting to live my life and be happy and feeling like I've got all the tools in my mental arsenal to just totally like, you know, be who I want to be the best person that I can be. I feel like I'm right on par. Obviously, because I've had my Atlas out for so long, there is a realigning process that I still feel like I'm going through. But
the body's still realigning, but your hip right now, so 3 months later, is perfectly straight. So the hip leveled off, and your body's still going through some changes, but most of the work pretty much, you know, back where before the accident.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, I just want to say that I'm really, really satisfied with AtlasProfilax, and I want to say that Zana has been amazing throughout all of this. Any questions or any, you know, concerns I had, she's been so quick to just help me out. And I highly recommend this if this is something that, you know, you think might help you.
Great, thank you.
Excellent, thank you.